our lives as a people. It's going to be deep conversation on the show in the new year because, of course, we know that a lot will happen. A lot is already happening and more will happen in the year 2026, leading us into 2027. So serious, strong political conversation we're going to be having on the show all through the year 2026. We're going to have 2 off-cycle elections this year. Ekiti-Osun State election will be coming up this year. Of course, that will give us a lot of talking point. And I'm sure that politicians are also going to be extremely active, of course, coming up with intrigues, coming up with a lot of issues that will make the headlines for us to focus on as we approach the election year 2027. In fact, the campaigns are in 2026, majorly because if the election cycle, the timeline does not change, the date does not change, February, March 2027 will just be having the election. So real campaign is in 2026. But today on the show, I have Barrister Kurtis Adigba in the studio. Nurudeen Adegbengro is also with me in the studio. Joseph Folorunsho is listening to us, so he will be observing and listening to the show from wherever he is. I'm sure he's also part of the show in spirit as we speak.
Good evening to all our listeners.
All right. We have a lot to talk about. It came as a breaking news very early this morning, and I think we now have more details that can guide our conversation this evening. Venezuela, it's been a matter of time, really. It's been a matter of when, not if it was going to happen. For those who have been following developments in that part of the world, the Latin America part of the world, I've been seeing some activities in release. What can we make of it? Trump says the U.S. will run Venezuela after the government of the U.S. captured President Nicolas Maduro. People have called me to ask me one of questions. I said, we'll just wait till when we have Barrister Kurtis Adigba in the studio to help us break it down. Because, yes, for the little we know of international politics, there are deeper dimensions to this issue. And if you know how deep international politics is, you understand why it's not a major talking point before we now come back home to look at our own domestic issues. So the first thing is to look at the interest of America in Venezuela and the entire Latin America. What exactly is the U.S. looking for? Why is Venezuela so important to the U.S. and particularly President Donald Trump? The consequence of what has just happened, a powerful nation, invading a sovereign nation in the deep of the night and arresting him and his wife. What are the implications for regional stability of the entire Latin America? President Donald Trump has said that, look, the Colombian president is next if he doesn't behave himself. Again, we'll talk about what President Trump is saying. The issue of the future of Venezuela, there's been a lot of talk as to why is it that the vice president of Nicolas Maduro is now the person in charge. We are talking about Delcy Rodriguez, that has now been sworn in by the country's Supreme Court. If you say the president is running an illegitimate government, he wasn't running it alone. So if you remove him, why not remove the entire cabinet? Why retain 90% of his cabinet of what you have called an illegitimate? So a lot of angles really to this particular conversation. What is this also in the context of international law? What does international law say about things like this? What precedents are we seeing with what has happened? Do we also have antecedents to it? Is this a new thing or something that has always been happening? What about Americans' foreign policy? I've had people who have engaged me to say, you know what, whether it's Republican or Democrat, Americans' foreign policy is always the same. What can we say about that? Again, Barrister Kurtis Adigba will help us break all of that down. Again, we are going to be talking about the multipolar, unipolar, and bipolar world. What are the advantages and disadvantages of having a world order that is either multi, uni, or bi in nature? And then what is this message? What does this message? What is the message in this that has just happened to other world leaders? We'll bring it back home and ask ourselves, should President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also pay attention to what President Trump has done with Nicolas Maduro? So that's going to be our first talking point, and then we'll come back home to look at the crisis that seems to be brewing again in Rivers State after the 6-month suspension, APC leaders appear to be backing Governor Siminalayi Fubara for re-election, what you call second term. Even though the Minister of the FCT, who still maintains the godfather position, is saying that, look, agreement is agreement. If you single your mandate from now till tomorrow, it will not change anything. If you are not careful, I'll even release the agreement. Nothing will change. We made a mistake in the past. We will correct the mistake now. We'll look at that conversation and ask ourselves, where will the pendulum swing? What's happening in Rivers State? What are the intrigues? What are the calculations? We have a soundbite that captures what the politicians in Rivers State are saying. There's been a lot of talk. Similarly, Fubara has not been quiet. In fact, he now appears like a completely different person. Wike is having his tour around local governments in Rivers State. He's also been talking tough. And we'll look at all that and ask ourselves some very critical questions. What will become of Rivers State ahead of 2027? And then Mr. Peter Obi has officially joined the ADC. And that has given some momentum, brought some momentum into the ADC. In fact, the report is that, look, more people have now joined the ADC, and it all appears good and steady for the ADC ahead of the 2027 elections. The question is, should the APC be worried? And finally, we'll go to KANO State to look at the crisis that seems to be brewing again between Governor Abba Yusuf and his godfather, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, since reports are having it that Governor Abba Yusuf is planning to defect to the APC. We go through some history with just another crisis between a godfather and a godson, and what are the political implications. I'm so excited to have you in the studio this evening, and so we'll go straight to talking about what happened midnight, towards the early morning of today. A little bit of summary, just to summarize what has happened so far, is that, look, after the U.S. military assault succeeded in capturing Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, both facing U.S. charges related to cocaine trafficking under newly unsealed indictment, President Trump has said the U.S. will run the country until such a time for safe, proper, and judicious transition. Trump also said that Secretary of State Marco Rubio and was, quote unquote now, essentially willing to do what we think on state television, and called for Maduro's immediate release. Maduro has led Venezuela since 2013, succeeding an ideological ally, Hugo Chavez, who had been in office since 1999. Under both men, U.S. relations with Venezuela frayed over foreign policy, oil, and human rights. In July 2024, Maduro declared victory after an election that international observers described as fraudulent. The country's opposition candidate, Edmundo González Urrutia, reportedly received about 70% of the vote. Tensions between Trump and Maduro in what Trump described as an effort to thwart drug smuggling. When a reporter just this morning asked Trump during the Mar-a-Lago media event whether he had spoken to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado following Maduro's arrest, Trump said that Machado doesn't have the support for the respect within the country. Machado who recently won the Nobel Peace Prize for her fight for democracy in Venezuela, had a 72% approval rating from Venezuelans in March 2025 poll by Clear Path Strategies, which means she's somebody who is grounded and has got a lot of support from her people in Venezuela. By Kurtis Adigba, again, a lot of talking points. We're going to approach it in a very methodical way. We're streaming the show live on Facebook. You can also listen to us via the Radio Garden platform on YouTube. You can watch us and listen to the show via those multiple platforms as we dig into these issues. By Kurtis Adigba, just break it down for us.
First and foremost, yes. I know Maria Machado.
Yes.
My committee, the award
That's
committee.
the opposition leader now
Yes.
in Venezuela.
Yes, the award committee of the IAPC, which is the International Association of Political Consultants, of which I happen to be a member, awarded Machado the Democracy Award in 2024 in Toronto, Canada. And that was followed by the Nobel Peace Prize. I understand why he thought he was going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, and he went to her. And of course, she knew that.
But she dedicated it to
Trump. She had to dedicate it to Trump, just to assuage his feelings. Because he felt very bad when he wasn't given that award. But look, that's just by the side. I think what the issue is here is that first and foremost, listeners need to understand he has the highest provable deposit of oil of any country in the world. 303 billion barrels.
Highest provable oil deposit.
Yes, that's one.
Real, not
not mixture. Not blending.
The second position, Saudi Arabia, 287 billion. Now, just imagine that Kuwait, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, all these countries put together, they don't have close to half
of the oil deposit in Venezuela.
In Venezuela. So that's how massive the oil sector is. Now, it's a multiracial society. Now, if you meet a Venezuelan, I'm trying to get one of our friends
to join us,
who worked for
Machado,
Gonzalez and Machado's group,
okay,
ran their election. My friend Gutierrez, I hope you call in the course of this program.
Sure, before we end the show, yes.
You will hear they're very proud of their country, in the sense that they tell you there is no race in Venezuela. It's one united country. However, the truth is that mestizos are product of white people meeting local women, and then they have children that look like half caste, like we call them.
More like
here.
Europeans.
Like Europeans. They constitute about 51 to 52% of the population. They also call themselves pados. However, they are not wealthy. They are not the most popular. Just like you have a group of majority in a country who do not control the politics of the country.
Or the economy.
Both the economy and politics of the country.
Yeah.
Now, you also have the Europeans, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the Germans, and then a little bit of Arab population that are also in the country. They constitute about 42 to 43% of the population. And they are the most influential, the elites. They control the economy. In fact, they used to run the oil expected in the coup to topple the government. Himself was toppled at some point, and then he came out, won election by being the populist, just like Trump did in America. Promised to give the wealth of the people to them.
Back to the people.
Now, he ran against a woman called Irene Sass, who was the mayor of Caracas. Irene Sass also contested for the most beautiful woman in the world pageant. That's to tell you the kind of how this country was organized. Now, one of the things that Chavez did when he took over was to remove the white have enough skills. But then he succeeded in pumping so much oil to different countries of the world, and then used the revenue to distribute money to the ordinary people. And that's why they liked him. Now, he had a program called Allo Presidente, which he does every Sunday.
That's more like communicating with the people. Yeah,
it was such a
populist.
Dramatic. It was dramatic. It was also very charismatic. You could find somebody calling to the president to you.
That one is not stomach fracture.
However, because he was perceived by America to be a socialist, one who was sustaining Cuba with a lot of oil resources, notwithstanding
communist Cuba,
who are starving and all of that, gave them so much oil. But the United States wanted more. Because, you see, one of the things that is very, very, very dear to the United States is oil. The price of oil has direct impact on how Americans feel at home.
The economy of the U.S.
Yes. So people like Obama, you remember that even under Joe Biden, there was an attempt to topple Maduro. First of all, let me even talk about how Maduro came to power.
Yes. That's also very
Maduro
important.
is not a neophyte in the politics of Venezuela. He was the president of the National Assembly of Venezuela. He was also the foreign minister of Venezuela before he was picked by Hugo Chavez to be his deputy in his 4th term. Now, Hugo Chavez won that election and was supposed to be inaugurated January 2013. But because he was so sick, he was in Cuba for his treatment, that was pushed forward. But in March, he died. 5th of March, he died.
Yes.
And then in the special election that emerged, Nicolas Maduro was declared the winner of that election. Items in the country, there was hunger.
Inflation,
as I speak to you, over 6 million people fled the country and they're living in other Latin American countries.
As refugees,
Now, that brought him head on with the American states. Barack Obama, Joe Biden, they tried to use diplomacy by withdrawing recognition for the Maduro government.
As illegitimate.
Yes. At some point, they propped up Juan Guaido, who was the opposition leader. And in fact, Joe Biden received Juan Guaido and his wife in the White House, I think twice or thrice, trying to strangulate the regime.
So the foreign policy of the U.S. has been hostile
towards the moment Hugo Chavez took over power. The U.S. became very hostile towards Venezuela. Because they were not hostile towards Venezuela before. 45 to Joe Biden 46
and now 47.
And to Trump 47. Ensure that the oil industry in Venezuela has been crippled. From 3 million barrels a day, we're going to run the country. Well, what it simply means that we're taking over the oil.
No, he said it, because that American companies are going to go there and invest.
So, and that's why the Wall Street Journal is saying this was an invasion for profit for his friends.
Not about...
Data was won by Gonzalez.
Yes, Gonzalez.
Edmundo Gonzalez.
Yes.
So if it was
about democracy,
what Trump and the United States should be doing is to say, we want to bring back the legitimate government
who won that election.
But they're not talking about that.
They are now negotiating.
Now, if he didn't win the election, why would his deputy
take over?
And the Minister of Defense and the Minister of Interior of Venezuela ordered that the Vice President be sworn in. The Vice President is talking tough, but we know that
give me lip service.
This is just lip service. The truth is that this is not about democracy. This is about oil revenue for America. This is about bringing down the price of oil. But then the United States cannot just go into another country in that he has deployed gangs into America.
To take drugs into America.
They accuse him of also weapons, infractions, and crime did his wife commit. Why was she also...
Why take the wife?
Why was she also arrested, and then taken to America? Okay, you get the point?
Yes.
So, the truth of the matter is that it's been coming for a long time. In November, Trump declared Maduro a terrorist. We knew this was coming.
It was going to come.
They had also bombed some...
suspected boat smuggling, cocaine.
Boats or ships and all.
Over 100 people have been killed in those operations.
The question people are asking, if this was about simply stopping drug trafficking into the United States by Nicolas Maduro and his regime that are deemed to be illegitimate, if this was about stopping gangs from being sent, because Trump accused him of releasing prisoners and gang members from the US and sending them into the US by giving them diplomatic passports. If this was about sending weapons, what has the US put in place to stop that right now? And this is why what has happened is dangerous, extremely dangerous. This is the danger about the unipolar war. But the immediate factors that triggered this, notwithstanding that this has been in the plan for some time, was the fact that the Chinese representative visited Maduro. And if you listen to Marco Rubio this afternoon, in the interview that he granted to NBC, he talked about it. The fact that Maduro had opened the door for the enemies of America to come into the Western Hemisphere by sending in long-range missiles. And the United States could not just stand and watch that happen. But the coming days are going to be very interesting. Interesting because, one, we've seen demonstrations right now going on in Venezuela.
Even in the U.S.
And even in the U.S. And in other capitals of the world, because this is not about democracy. And people are beginning to ask, what happens if Putin decides to carry out similar operation in Ukraine tomorrow?
And just pick Zelensky.
What happens if China decides to go to Taiwan? So, although Trump has invoked the Monroe Doctrine, I don't know if you heard about the Monroe Doctrine. He says it's the reason why he's doing what he's doing. The Monroe Doctrine was a doctrine that was propounded by James Monroe in 1823, the then president of the United States, when he talked about the fact that the Europeans who had conquered countries in Western Hemisphere and who had decided to give up those countries will no longer be allowed to come back to conquer them. And America will also not go to Europe to conquer any country or try to take over any country. So this is all about. So, and that America has appointed itself as the police of the Western Hemisphere in order to protect the independence of these Latin American and other American countries within the Western Hemisphere. This is the entire concept about the Monroe Doctrine. Now, Trump has changed that to Don Doctrine.
Or Don P Doctrine.
Yes. To protect countries in the Western Hemisphere. And that is why he had to go into Venezuela.
Yes.
It's also saying that Cuba should be worried.
Colombia should be worried. He said he's next. The president of Colombia is next. If you are listening, you are next.
Now, what this tells you, because you see, one of the first things that Trump did when he came, was that the agreement that Obama had signed with Cuba, for Cuba and the United States to begin to
build some good relationship.
Yeah, I mean, he simply destroyed it and said he wasn't going to be part of that. So this has been long in coming. Look, the United States have always played roles like this. This is not the first time a foreign leader has been captured. Go back to January 1990. It also happened. Manuel Noriega was picked from Panama, tried in the United States and jailed. He died in prison. Don't also forget that when Bertrand Aristide, the president of Haiti, was overthrown by Raul Cedras and Philip Biambe. Again, President Clinton had sent Colin Powell to go tell them to leave the country, which was what Trump also tried to do with Maduro. By telling him to leave the country.
Before now, they've told him,
leave the country, go into exile. We'll give you a safe passage. Clinton told Raul Cedras and Philip Biambe, the leaders of the coup, to go into another country in Latin America they'll have safe passage. They said they were not going to go anywhere. And Colin Powell had to make them understand that this is not a war they can win. However, wisdom interfered in the sense that the 78-year-old president, interim president, Émile Zoédine, said they were going to leave, and they left the country. And so there was no invasion. But we all have to be worried, just like you mentioned in your introduction. Now, does that mean that tomorrow, if our president here disagrees with Trump over any policy whatsoever, President Trump can then say Tinubu has a record or has been accused of drug peddling sometimes in the past.
And they just come and pick him up.
There will be an operation called Absolute Resolve. Delta Force or the Naval Sea will be deployed. And then they come here and then somebody is picked
use the Gulf of Guinea and just do whatever they want to do.
It simply doesn't make sense. So we are on a chartered, we are in a territory that nobody, you see, you can only start something, you don't know how it will end. And this is why countries are beginning to arm themselves. They learned from what happened to Gaddafi.
Yes.
Not until Gaddafi announced that he was destroying his nuclear arsenal. Nobody wanted to attack him. And this is why the guy in North Korea will say, listen.
Talking about the balance of power. We never denuclearize.
I will never give up my nuclear weapons. Because he knows they will come for him. So this is what we are watching in Venezuela, and it's very interesting. This is not about democracy.
So Barrister Kurtis Adigba, again, because we've talked about the UN Charter on Sovereignty of States, and I think this rubbishes it completely. If a country can just invade another country, go into it, pick up their president, as we speak, they are not just picking the president, they pick the wife and the standing trial. On what a lot of people have said, look, there's always an opportunity to give a dog a bad name to hang it. America has gone into nations giving excuses of drugs, issue of arms, terrorism. It's even easy for America to just come up with anything to say, look, you are a threat to our national security. There would always be something to say. Well, the operations in Nigeria have been tagged, an opportunity to help the issue of the balance of power. Before the show, we had a conversation where you said that, look, they can do this anywhere in the world, but there are countries they will never invade. I'm sure they will not try this in Russia.
They can't go to China.
They won't go to China.
They can't do this to North Korea. They won't even do it in India because India is also a nuclear weapon.
So where does this leave the idea of countries towards what you call arms race acquisition? To say, look, the police of the world can no longer be trusted. I've seen analysts, even in the US, saying that, look, what this will do is to begin to send message to other world powers, other regional leaders to say, look, you know what? Tomorrow, if you fall off with the U.S., something can happen to you. Now that we have leaders who are not going to respect anything, the sovereignty of nations and what have you. So, is this going to lead to what you call because again, after the Second World War, there was the Cold War era. And then there was the IAEA to ensure that, look, countries were not pursuing nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Don't you think to create a world order that creates some form of balance of power, nations are going to start to do it?
Well, you know, let's look at the case of Iran, for example. Iran has tried so many times to acquire the nuclear weapons. And the United States and Israel has have ensured that Iran will not get a nuke because they feel that Iran is too dangerous. But here's the truth of the matter. I think we are on the verge of another Cold War. And there are those who believe that because of the economic challenges being faced by Russia might not be able to put up that strong force.
Resistance.
But they forget that Russia has the highest number of nuclear warheads.
Yes.
And can't take take on the United States. And that will lead to Third World War, whatever it is. And then
just escalate
if it doesn't lead to the destruction of the world. But having said that, China is also an emerging military and economic power. And China has got also the super vote in the UN.
Yeah, yes. Veto.
Yeah. The veto power, which is the super power, the super vote. Now, what it means is that you are going to find countries who can no longer trust America, who no longer believe that America is a shield for them anymore, begins to move towards China for protection. Now, I think just 2 days ago, I listened to one of the policy advocates or one of the top leaders in China talks about how powerful China has become.
Yes,
he said something.
Washington.
If America to happen is that, because you see, Maduro was actually running to as Russia. In fact, he's been propped up by Russia for so long, just like Assad in Syria. And this is beginning to give a lot of people worry that in the last 1 year, at a point, Russians couldn't protect him anymore.
You had to just abandon him, yeah.
Because Russia is also fighting the war with Ukraine.
So to deploy, resources was going to be a problem. Yeah.
Yes, it was going to be a problem. And the same thing has happened in Venezuela.
Venezuela, yes.
So, and I think that some have argued that why Russia was caught napping was that Russia believed that with all that is going on with Trump and Venezuela, okay, that it was an opportunity to focus on the Ukraine war and just finish it. So they were not thinking about the fact that the U.S. was planning any invasion to extract
Maduro.
Because this was just a decapitation of the regime, as we have seen. It's not an attempt to change the government.
Because about 90% of people who form the Maduro government are still in power.
Because the people who control at every point in time, it has to be kept in power, supported in power by powerful brokers that you may not even see every day.
You told me about, for example, in Cameroon.
In Cameroon, now, Paul Biya know his bedroom. Maduro was not in government alone. He was there. He was backed by the military.
I've said that even the vice president is even a bit more brutal than even Maduro.
The president of the National Assembly is a brother of the vice president. So you then begin to ask yourself, if you then take out Maduro alone, and you are leaving the vice president, the minister of defense, the minister of interior.
What have you changed?
Because if this was about democracy, if this was entirely about regime change, by now it should be propping up an interim government. The American government set up an interim government led by Paul Bremer.
Yes.
Okay? It was Bob Bremer who conducted the first election that produced
Malaki or something. We could not even do anything.
Nura Malaki. So, the coming days are going to be interesting.
Yes.
But, this has completely turned upside down the world order.
The world order.
And it's also telling that we have not had any strong pushback from the United Nations.
They've issued a statement merely condemning.
I know.
Talking about the UN Charter.
Just like the statement that have been issued by other countries.
Yes.
Just saying there's a need to respect the sovereignty.
Issue statement. But I don't want us to miss the part of Marco Rubio, there are people who are saying that, look, yes, Trump is at the head of in Latin America, that there's a Marco Rubio hand in all of this, barrister.
So Marco Rubio,
the Secretary of State,
is a Cuban.
He's from Cuba. Yes.
His parents were chased away from Cuba to the United States by Fidel Castro. He feels so extremely bitter about the situation. In fact, the guys that were killed in Venezuela, in Caracas, were all Cubans because Maduro didn't trust Venezuelans to protect him. So he hired more Cubans as part of his security details. I think Marco Rubio is also on his own personal mission and ambition. Marco Rubio wants to show the Americans that he's a tough cookie because he has his eyes on the presidency, just like J.D. Vance. And then he has a personal score to settle with figures that he called authoritarian.
Yes.
In Latin America. Okay, and this is why Trump has got to be very careful. Careful in the sense that Trump campaigned on not dragging America into further wars. He promised to end all the wars. He said his government was going to be focused on America
part of the American first policy. Bring everybody back home. And I said he's going to end wars all around the world.
He might need to put boots on the ground in Venezuela to be able to do successfully what he intends to do. Because if you have the vice president speaking the way she's speaking, and if you have this patriotic favor coming from Venezuelans and say, look, we thought this was about democracy for us, and so you should be respecting the outcome of the 2024 election that we think we have a clear winner. If you are not going in that direction, what you are going to see in the next few days is that people will continue to protest more and all that. In the midst of the enthusiasm, okay, people will begin to ask questions about why the vice president of a discredited government,
what you call an illegitimate government,
is
what you are negotiating with,
is the one in place. So that's why Trump needs to be extremely careful, because he might find Marco Rubio in pursuit of his personal ambition, drag him
into needless crisis
within the Western Hemisphere that he may not be able to control, and that might just end the second term.
Well, on this conversation, we end it here, barrister. There are people who have said that, look, it seems America is not learning, or maybe they don't just care. We had a lot of regime change, for example, in the Middle East. Okay, a lot of them sponsored by the West. The fall of Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, a lot happened, and up till now, the effects are still there. Even in Afghanistan. So if in the Western Hemisphere, in Latin America, they start to have this desire for regime change, don't you think a whole region is also going to put into a needless crisis?
The American foreign policy has suffered from insularity in every society. And so about democracy. The Vietnamese were just going to come to the street and pour out and welcome them with candies.
And when they got
that didn't happen because they didn't understand the internal dynamics.
In Afghanistan, the same thing.
In Afghanistan, they just believe that, once the Taliban are gone.
We put people there.
Now, the Taliban are Pashtuns. Most of them are Pashtuns. Afghanistan, you have 4 major ethnic groups. You have the Pashtuns, the majority. You have the Uzbeks. You have the Tajiks. And you have the Hazara. Now, the United States, of course, didn't understand these dynamics. They just felt that once you get rid of the Taliban, peace will come. The same way they went to Iraq. If you take out Saddam Hussein,
that's all.
The people will welcome American troops.
Give them liberty, give them freedom, give them infrastructure, will be well.
They did not understand the internal dynamics, that there's also conflict between the Shias
and the
Sunnis. And so there is a conflict, eternal conflict between the Mestiz and Arabs within the country. So Libya took out Gaddafi.
Yeah.
What happened? In fact, if you read some of the memoirs that have been done on Iraq, at a point, President George Bush felt that maybe they should return Saddam Hussein back to power so he can still struggling. And everything in place. How long did it take the Taliban to come back?
And they just allow
democracy is the be all and all as far as they are concerned. But no, that's how they also created problems in all over the world. When you now take democracy and say, look, first of all, you have a group of capitalists
who takes over.
For instance, in the old Yugoslavia, the Croats are the dominant market minority. Okay? You go to Cameroon, you have the Bamilekes. You go to different parts of, you go to
the egalitarian society that democracy is supposed to create.
Wherever you have the forces of democracy, market and capital colliding, there's always instability. Because look at what happened in Indonesia, where the Chinese population, who are majority, we go to the polls and defeat whoever is sponsored by this minority, and then there will be attacks,
and then there will be problem and chaos.
Go to the Philippines, the same thing. The Chinese control the economy, and they are minority. So how does democracy?
So you have people who are ruling over people who actually control the economy, and then becomes a problem.
Minority is one ruling.
We'll still keep our eyes on this. I thought we should just quickly deal with this before we come back home.
Look at Sierra Leone.
Yeah,
Lebanese dominate the economy of Sierra Leone. Powerful. You can't become president in Sierra Leone without their backing.
Yes.
But then the local people will get angry and take it out on them. So, I mean, democracy is not the solution to all problems.
I've seen a lot of Nigerians who have been talking about, the need for Trump to do this in Nigeria. He needs to come. And I think that, look, I think this is a different thing entirely. Our own situation, for me, its variance looks completely different from the situation of Venezuela. So
what people are saying is that, I've heard people say, because Maduro rigged the last election, he deserved what he got. I think the message here is
and
that...
the fact that some Venezuelans are also celebrating anyways.
Yeah, of course. I mean...
There will always be celebration. It's just what it is.
The devil has his followers.
There will always be,
There's nobody without...
No, and another thing again is that if a leader of a country is not making the resident happy, so if any other devilish or whatever happens to it, they'll feel happy. And that is what our position should know. If you don't do well for people, if something, even if you lose your son, you see people that will say, and that is the thing, and that is the thing, and it's a clear message. It's a clear message, whether we like it or not. We may say our own is different. There is nothing different in our own. How many of our politicians are not rigging elections in Nigeria? Let us even leave the one of the president. What of others, the governors, all of them?
But Barr, you know the argument for me, and I think people need to understand that. Look, while we are looking at some of these things, it's also very important to situate it properly. We've said that, look, I mean, they would always come up with something. And we also seen America prop up and support authoritarianism in different parts of the world.
Look,
so even it's about democracy.
Wait, this is why... Mr. Do you know that in Venezuela...
60%.
So, are they talking about Christians? Whatever they are looking for is what they are going to use to decide.
I think to buttress your point.
That look, they've brought up some authoritarian governments all over the world.
The Egyptian president, Al-Sisi.
I talked about him. We knew how he came in.
In fact, do you know that Trump was being investigated?
Yes.
For receiving $10 million in cash from Al-Sisi.
Yes.
If not that he was elected as president, that's one of the cases
that
was
beyond the allegation.
Said he prefers killers, leaders who are killers,
tough men.
He doesn't care. I mean, for him, it's not about democracy. It's about American interest, foreign strategic object, about the hypocrisy about that already.
Yes.
And we say that it's because our government
are not doing enough. Why not? So
wasn't doing enough.
Of course.
Yes. If not, look, here's the truth. When the same Trump felt that the white minority in South Africa were not being treated fairly, what did he do? He granted them refugee status.
Yes.
And took them to the United States.
He should have at least said that, if you identify as a Christian in Nigeria, just come, we'll give you visa.
So it's about interest. And that interest is what it is per time. But the United States, I've said this, whether it is the Democrats or the Republicans, that the Democrats may be a bit sober. For instance, when
more diplomatic,
Obama was supposed to take the United States to Libya. He went to the U.S. Congress. Should I go or should I not go? The Congress said you cannot go. He pulled back. Trump attacked Venezuela before informing
Congress members.
Leaders of Congress. An injection. Now, you have the option of grabbing the child like our parents used to do. But they will get the
injection must be given.
Because the Democrats probably would have done this through sanctions. You know, and
or even prop up
or create katakata in their country.
Just cause some problems there.
I also want you to know something. Almost every time America has gone out to attack any other nation, just check carefully. It was under a Republican government.
Majorly, when they do it by themselves.
When they do it by themselves.
Not proxies.
Yes. Look at Ronald Reagan in Libya. Republican. George Bush Senior in Panama, Republican. almost every time.
George Bush Jr. in Iraq.
Even the one that struck in Nigeria, Republican. Because they are hawks. They are war hawks.
The Democrats will use proxies.
The Democrats can use proxies or use sanctions.
Yes.
Okay, but the same.
They want to achieve the same
interest.
Yes. See, when you use sanction, it's slower. You strangulate the economy by saying, look at what Obama did in Iran. The sanctions. So much sanction that Iran
was forced to negotiate.
But
this one went bombing, just straight.
You understand?
To a good extent, we've been able to really touch on this Venezuela issue. It's a developing story, and we are still following, we are still monitoring. I'm sure that, look, it's going to be part of our conversation, ahead to rein in Trump. Really, like you said, the same interest, but the method is what I think. The Panama Canal. He's talking about Greenland. He's talking about Cuba. This is a man who is also saying, I believe that Canada should be the 54th state. The 54th state. I hope I'm not going to wake up one day and see him in Canada.
Well, I don't think so. I think even in his madness, there should be method. Because he would not want to plunge the United States into war. Different fronts. Because look, whether you like it or not, what he has done would not bode well for the United States. Because like we said, they are going to see more countries run to China
or begin to
for protection,
minerals and all that. And that itself is going to be a problem because right now they will not import anything to produce semiconductors
because of the deposits they have. All right, Sir Kurtis, thank you so much. Let's go and talk. Let's start to talk about our own domestic issues. It's still political roundtable, mainland 98.3 FM. I can see a lot of messages already dropping on our Facebook platform. Of course, the show is interactive. We'll open the phone lines to have your take on these issues much more later on the show. But Sir Kurtis Adigba, Nurudeen, Rivers State, rivers of interesting politics, interesting conversations, and in the last 1 week, they've given us so many talking points. The minister of the FCT is a Rivers State. He's been moving from one local government to, in fact, they call it FCT minister's visit. So he's visiting local government one after the other in Rivers State, and at every stop, the message is the same: agreement. It's agreement. That's what he's been saying.
What is the agreement?
And we're going to get. So he's been insisting that, look, people can sing on hard. And people have been saying that, look, when you talk about, look, they cannot suddenly use us. They cannot suddenly change the agreement. The message is deep. It's deeper than just assuming that, it's about Fubara. Because when you say that they cannot change the message, what it means is that both the person that created the agreement and the people that signed, the message goes to them. And there are people who have said that, look, Wike may begin to feel threatened by the sudden love that the APC leaders are having for Governor Siminalayi Fubara. And that might also mean that, look, we might get to the point where Wike is going to take on the president. Let me lead you into this community renewed hostilities between him and the FCT minister Wike. First, it was Ajibola Bashiru. In an interview with Sunday Punch, who said that Fubara has the full support of the party for his re-election campaign. Nobody can frustrate any APC governor. This is quoting Ajibola Bashiru. According to the Punch newspaper, nobody can frustrate any APC governor. Fubara, like other APC governors, is running the affairs of the state well, he added. Remember that Fubara defected. Again, the national chairman of the APC, Professor, while speaking to Channel 7, he said that, look, Governor Fubara is the leader of the APC in Rivers State, but they were expecting to work with others to ensure victory for the party at the coming polls. I have a soundbite I've put together so that we can catch some breath from Governor Fubara's voice. So I advise our listeners to try and just pick some of these soundbites and understand, because there's been a lot of soundbites, so we just have to merge a few. But they set the tone for the conversation we'll have. What is happening to Mr. Wike? In fact, in one of the soundbites, Fubara said that, look, they can come out in the open to dance and do as if nothing is happening. But in their corner of their bedroom, they are crying. That's Governor Fubara. He is also the man who has said that if they follow Tinubu, no, they follow corner. He's also told his people, avoid the barking dog. Let them bark. As I did so, no problem. But Wike and his people are saying agreement is agreement. In fact, interestingly, the factional PDP chairman that used to be Fubara's ally, who has now joined Wike, is now demanding that Governor Fubara should tell Rivers State what the agreement is. What was the agreement? What did you sign? Because according to him, there was agreement that you will not go for second term. You agreed to it. There was the agreement that Edison here will not return.
That was in PDP.
That was in PDP now.
You see, but he said that what he's saying is that even though he's still in PDP,
yes,
what he's saying is that
let us know the agreement.
It is Rivers people that gave him the mandate.
Let me tell you.
He's speaking for Rivers people.
Sorry, before you finish, play
the sound right.
During the Castello had indicated interest. Alhaji Koroma indicated interest. Hezekiah Bowen, the chief of army staff, then indicated interest, and then Mama, who later became the president.
Yes.
Now, Castello went behind and lobbied Hezekiah Bowen, so that this was in Akosombo in Ghana. He lobbied Hezekiah Bowen to say that when the time comes for nomination, I'll nominate myself. You also nominate me, which means I will have 2 votes against every other person that is 1-1. When it was not time to nominate, when the question was asked, who was interested in becoming interim president, Castello raised his hand. Koroma raised his hand.
Someone that was supposed to nominate someone else.
Yomi Johnson raised his hand. When it was not time for... Castello was smiling and looking at Hezekiah Bowen. And then he too raised his hand, saying he wanted to be interim president. So there was a tie. During the tea break, Castello now went to Hezekiah Bowen. Mime, what happened? The guy said, Mime, things change.
Things can change. Agreement is agreement, but things can change very fast.
Party has changed. Things change, man.
All right. We'll see. Because again, it's just I had to put all these sound bites together, but I'll assume that when we listen to them, you understand where we're coming from and where we're going on this particular conversation of the intrigues, political intrigues in Rivers State. Political Roundtable.
All the places the FCT minister visited and made speech, the FCT minister said agreements were reached before the leave lighted. In all the places he's visited, is that one, that the governor agreed before the president not to run for a second term. 2, that the governor agreed that he would drop Tami Ganagogo as secretary for the state government issues. Ordinarily, these issues shouldn't have bothered us because he's no longer a member of PDP. But because as a party we are concerned, we are Rivers people, we deserve to know. We elected him, we gave him mandate for a period of 4 years. All his actions, directly or indirectly, affect us even as a party and as a people of Rivers State. It is based on this that we are demanding today, unequivocally, that the governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, should come out clean and tell Rivers people exactly the peace pact, all the things they agreed before the state of emergency was lifted. 1, did he agree before the president that he won't run for a second term? 2, did he agree to drop the secretary to the state government? Did he also agree to reinstate Sergeant Awuse as chairman of Rivers State Council of Traditional Rulers? And 4, that he will not bring back Edison Esheed as chief of staff, government house. All these issues border on Rivers people. It is Rivers people that gave him his mandate. Rivers people need to know exactly what he agreed.
I've stepped into 2026 with a very strong assurance that both inputs to trust the war, the only, and God will never let us down. So I want to assure everyone here that 2026, don't be troubled by the sound of war that you're hearing. You know the story of Elijah when he wanted to hear God after his experience with Ahab and Jezebel. The incident of Barr speak to him. God didn't speak to him through thunder. And this morning, unknowingly, the preacher, man of God, have just given us a clue. Not be carried away or be scared by the stories of war, but listen gently and quietly to that whisper that God, you know our mission, you know the promises we made for the people who supported us, the man who stood by us, the one who made it possible for us to still stand there to say 2026, here we come. We will continue to give that support, not by noise, not by threat, but by assuring the good people of River State that in a peaceful and understanding manner, that Tinubu, that the pastor has given to me, as our father in the Lord.
Caesar, in one of his quotes, said, "The dog barks." If you have a dog in your house and your dog knows you, it doesn't need to bark. So when the dog starts barking, maybe the dog is saying something it doesn't understand. Huh? So we are not barking because we understand. We know where we're going, and we have set all the things that are needed to make the journey smooth and easy sailing. So let me thank everyone.
One state in particular, Rivers State, who is the head of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State.
In all the states, we have the state governors. They lead the parties in their own respective states. And in APC, we give that privilege to the governors. But at the same time, you being the leader doesn't mean that you now disfranchise people who are within the state. So as next chapter.
So just so we're clear.
So the same thing, yes.
Just so we're clear. In Rivers State,
yes,
the leader
yes,
of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State is Governor
yes,
Fubara?
Yes, but he will need to coordinate with every other person in the state.
What about the statements recently attributed to Minister Nyesom? If Simlala Fubara wants to run for a second term in office, will you, as national chairman of the party, be behind his...
Everybody undergoes primary election. If Similai emerges as a candidate of APC in Rivers State, I'll stand by him. But if any other person emerges as the candidate of APC in Rivers State, I'll go with him. I go with candidates, not individuals. He will pick from like any other person. He will go to primary election like any other person. All governors go for primary election. Recall we did primary election in Ekiti election, in Ekiti State. And the governor contested with other people. And he emerged as the candidate of the APC. Even when he came to submit their forms in the party office, but refused to pay in all of them. Asked to go and submit their forms. The governor went and submitted his form like any other person.
All right, it's still Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. Those sound bites, the first voice you heard in that sound bite was that of Dr. Nname of the party, to the Wike anointed chairman, moved to the APC. But because the Rivers people gave him the mandate, they want Siminalayi Fubara, the governor, to now tell them the agreement he had with the president and Wike in Abuja. Nothing factual, according to him, allegedly, that the governor reached an agreement not to seek for a second term, to sack his chief of staff in a year, remove this, that's according to him, and he's saying that if it is true, the governor should release that agreement to the public so that the Rivers people can know. Whereas Fubara is saying that, look, it's gone very biblical and spiritual. He's saying that, look, Rivers people should avoid all the noise and drama. I told the Rivers people, they may dance in public, tell you there's no problem, but in reality, when they are concerned, the governors are always the leaders of the party in the state, but they always tell them, especially when they have a national leader, to create inclusion. What inclusion means, I didn't really break it down completely, but for people who understand politics, I'm sure.
Accommodate.
I
think what has happened, the former chairman, is it of the PDP?
Yes, of the PDP, yes.
Who is asking the governor to release the details of the agreement. Why does the governor need to release? He's released everything already himself.
Yes, no.
By saying Edison shouldn't come back as chief of staff, he will not do second term, he will reinstate Sergeant Awuse. These were all the terms that they said they agreed.
Yes.
But the problem with talks like this,
yes,
when you say that the agreement was done with Rivers State people, where the Rivers State people gather
and
in their numbers, in their majority,
to sign this kind of agreement.
This was an agreement that if any at all was signed, of course we knew, and we said it in this studio, that the president put his hand unfairly on the scale for Wike.
That the whole emergency thing was just
about to rescue Wike's dominance. Otherwise, Wike was already gone.
Yes.
By the way the governor was going. Now, even the Supreme Court judgment that came was also contrived around the same issue.
Yes.
Now, the truth of the matter, two, that Wike should decide what the governor, everything that the governor will do or will not do. Three, that Wike will take over the keys of the treasury, support from the people of Rivers State and the leaders. It's just like what happened during the time of Saraki's dominance in Kwara State. He cannot attend. You understand?
Saraki has to approve it.
Yes. Look, is this still democracy?
No. The people say they like it too.
The fact is that yes, nobody can deny the fact that Wike cleared the field unfairly, unjustly, undemocratically. But he didn't do so because he loved Fubara so much.
Or loved the people of Rivers.
Fubara knows where all the dead bodies were buried by Wike.
And if they take him to the...
couldn't be found. And your speculations went well between you guys for some time. Lessons. And you have cut your losses. And then you said, we will see what will happen after this first term. All right? But at some point again, the crisis exploded, leading to the imposition of the state of emergency. And we understand that the man that was brought in as administrator was nominated or recommended by you.
By you, Wike.
By you, Wike. Now, the president saw the need to allow the governor to come back. You guys met in London. You met in Abuja. You entered into your agreement. Now, this agreement was based on one simple factor, that the governor will remain a member of the PDP. Okay? Now, that governor has changed his position.
Because that was not the agreement, a part of the agreement.
In the APC, for instance, tell the members when to defer to APC like they did in the past. And then
which they've done now.
You can boast about it to the president and say,
I told them to move.
I told them to move. But that week, Fubara was not... Fubara defecting to the APC was not part of...
Was not the weakest call.
His personal choice.
No, was not part of the call.
Yes.
And he kept waiting for Wike to arrange a meeting between him and members of the House of Assembly where these decisions, some of the key decisions
can be implemented.
But he didn't. And these guys went ahead and defected to the APC. Now, Fubara had to carve out his own part to the president through the chairman of the Progressive Governors Association, who took him to see the president midnight. In that meeting, he indicated to the president that he had made up his mind to defer to the APC.
Is that what you said? Things don't change? My men, things have changed.
Yes, my man, things have changed. The president as a welcoming leader.
Yes, now anybody that
whose hands are open.
You have said it.
Send people away, and you are now the leader
of your party in your state.
And symbolically, they gave him
one, like they give to Muftwang or
Plateau State
3 days ago. Now, that of course rattled Wike, because it wasn't Wike that took Fubara
to APC.
To the APC. And Wike, as we speak, is not a member of APC. And the message he sends to Wike is that Fubara is now his own man. Because he's no longer in my party, I am not his leader. In fact, and I'm not in APC, he's not my leader. And that was followed by some strategic movement by Fubara in trying to win the support of Rivers elders like Abba Yusuf, Lɪᴠᴇ, former governor Lɪsᴛᴇɪr, and Peter Odili and all of that going around. So that alarmed Wike. Now, instead of spending his Christmas and New Year,
whether the structure is still intact.
What is happening is that Fubara is eroding his structure across different local governments.
So that the movement is to check.
Is to check
whether the thing is still intact.
And reassure himself
that the thing is still there. All right. Nurudeen, before this defection of Fubara to APC, long go, and even at the thick of the disagreement, the crisis, we have said that we have seen something like this before. When we talked about Abia State,
yes, now
Orji's Okala and Theodore Orji, who said, if you go to APC, because when Fubara was going to defect, it wasn't a thing of surprise to some of us when we saw the assembly members
we saw their handwriting
quickly defect
before
Fubara. Do you think that, look, like Barrister is saying, agreements have changed? Now that the governor that signed the agreement has moved from the PDP to the APC, maybe Wike should have added, if it is true that there was agreement like this, maybe he should have added to the agreement then that, look, the governor, number one. So have things changed now that the governor has moved to the APC? Number two, this chairman of the PDP, former factional chairman, who is saying Fubara should release the agreement, should it be a Fubara thing, really, about releasing whatever agreement is available? Wike himself has said that they will soon release the agreement. Don't you think Wike should just release the agreement? And if he releases the agreement, don't you think it's also an embarrassment
to the president?
It's not as if we like the kind of politics
they are playing.
So
but that is what they are playing.
And we'll talk about it the way they are playing.
Fuhad, in mathematics, especially in secondary school, there is one particular topic, they call it set. S-E-T. Inside that set, there is a subtopic called union, where you are going to have different numbers in different sets of two. The one that Fubara did, if a state of emergency, before state of emergency, something has happened between godson and godfather, and Fubara believed that he was not treated very well or fairly at that particular time because president aligned with Wike. But because he couldn't do much, he's a president, he has a lot of power, and that is why he declared state of emergency. After state of emergency, okay, I'm back, let's try how we can work together. He now discovered that this is my godfather, he wants to control APC, he wants to control PDP. Okay, let me see if something is going to happen. But one thing that makes it change is that immediately leaves PDP to APC. Fuhad, things have changed. Because now what it means is this: there won't be a state of emergency again, because there is no even rule in Nigeria that we have state of emergency.
He's not a member of the APC.
So that one is one. Then two, the kind of cover he's going to get as a member of APC.
They can't even impeach him again.
They can't even impeach him. And even the cover that is going to get under, you think all the governors forum, the so-called governors forum, you think they are going to sit down? If they know how to handle him and take him to president, so they don't know how to even cater for him.
Barrister. And so that's the thing. This is almost like an exclusive, like even Opus or Dima and Co. are already beginning to see Wike as overbearing.
Yes.
Not just that.
I wrote, and that they will do everything to cut him to size.
No, not that.
That even the post-Tinubu political calculation is already ongoing.
Started, yes.
No, let me tell you something.
Yes.
Wike is fond of boasting that they will put fire
on
in states for different governors if they try him. And he tried that with Imo State, where he wanted the APC to give the ticket in Imo State to Anyanwu.
Yes.
The PDP.
Which we never, which
is command for destabilizing.
Hope never did.
And that will never happen. The problem is that between Wike and Hope Uzodinma is more ubiquitous.
Some political interest too.
He's also the renewed hope ambassador.
Yes.
Appointed by the president.
The man moving the renewed hope machinery all around. So if he led Fubara to the president.
He led Fubara to the president.
There's something about it.
In order to send a clear message to Wike.
I'm involved.
I'm in charge.
I'm in charge. So this is why Fubara's motion of the Progressive Governors Forum.
Because it's now with them.
It comes under the protection of the political party called the APC.
Yes.
Because Wike, and this is this because you are giving them secrets of your own family and doing nothing.
They're not going to trust you.
They will accept you.
For that
praise you.
Wike will never have access to.
Deep down in their hearts, if he could casually dispense with his family that he has known
the PDP,
all the years, he would do same to us. Don't forget that the PDP made Wike local government chairman twice.
Yes.
The PDP made Wike chief of staff.
Yes, yes.
And all of a sudden, that party
because of just his own
personality destroyed
because of his own personal
he did not become president or vice president. So the APC leaders are saying, okay, it has become too overbearing and pompous. There's no political party called APC PDP.
So you are an APC or
no corner.
Now he says he wants to control. As far as he's concerned, in one of the
soundbites,
he says the leader of the politics in Rivers State.
Whether it is APC, PDP, or whatever it is, he's the leader of the politics. All the boasting he's doing, all the talks, is making around. It takes just one step by the president.
Immediately remove the necessity minister just today.
And then the anti-craft agencies go after him.
That will be the end of him completely.
And what will be his defense? Is because I'm no longer supporting the president. That's why they're after me.
Would he have the boldness to go against the president?
But he's already going against the president. If you hear the kind of
that is going to release the agreement
that they cannot use us.
They cannot apart from the agreement.
Yes.
Look, I think yesterday was when he said, as for the other one, President Tinubu, we have agreed that we will all support him. But as for the other one, no, that's never going to happen.
So is he saying if Tinubu says, you know what, you should not support the government?
What I'm saying, that's why he's saying that supporting Fubara will mean a political barrier for him and all of them. And do you want to be buried politically? The people said no. Now, you see, when you are in a position like Wike, you don't preempt your position. You are positioning yourself as his leader.
And be tactical too.
Let me give you an example. And I think Wike or somebody close to him should give him the playbook by Tinubu against Ambode in Lagos.
Yes.
Tinubu was dissatisfied with
Ambode.
But you never heard from Tinubu himself before the primary.
Not
until that day when he said, I'm a leader of other leaders.
Yes. I don't have a problem with him.
And if they have said to me they don't want him, what can I do? That's how leaders operate. Stiltly. But this one is you are everywhere. All your strategy is known.
And with the way going now, that's why you see that Fubara is now gaining ground in terms of speaking out. In fact, speaking in parables, it's like he's now reading Bible very well to be able to bring some certain codes down. Because one thing there is that, one, he knows that the State Assembly, they are handicapped, they can't do anything to him.
No, they are.
Number two is that the chief judge of the states, without him, he can't be impeached.
No, impeachment is
that one. Then another thing again is this. So far, Wike is not a member of APC. He cannot tell him not to contest for the election in the party because he's not a member of APC. Another thing again is that if you see the way
he's not a member of the APC, so he can't decide for the APC in Rivers.
Yes.
Wike will not even be part of the process that will produce
him
the governorship candidate.
If they during the screening, if they screen all of them out,
what they can
so maybe Wike that's what I'm saying, that should he have again
can
covers that now.
That's one. Number two,
yes,
even if he did that, I don't think Mr. President would have accepted that as part of
because he wants everybody in the APC.
He says go and sweep them in. Now I think here is the problem is that look, when you do too much, my people say that when you stay in the restroom too long, you see some colored flies that you never think exist. See, I have always said this, this gated community democracy. That we run, where the will of one man will supersede the will of millions.
Because it's now looking like whoever is going to become governor in Rivers State now in 2027 will be determined by the president.
And there will still be you see, the problem is that if Wike had allowed the process to run,
yes,
and then someone emerged based on popularity
and the will of the people,
and the will of the people, you are not going to have this. But you see, and this is what we are having. Look at what happened in Benue, where the vice president, I made that observation before, that all the 3 governors Akume sponsored and supported, he fell out with them.
Yes.
The vice president told him, you sponsored one, you fell out with him. You sponsored the second, he said, this one we will not allow you. You are the SGF.
Yes.
You are a national officer of the party and of the country. But you are not the leader of the party.
You can see that they've told him now to go and reconcile with the governor. And he has even apologized to the governor.
He said to Akume, Professor Zulum is the governor of Borno State.
And he's the leader of the party in the state.
I am the vice president of Nigeria #2. But when I'm in Borno State, Zulum is my leader.
Is that a message to Wike too?
It's also a message to Wike.
From the vice president.
No,
yes. It's like you have account with GTB. And you are going to First Bank to say, I will draw equal amount of money that I have in GTB in First Bank. Where you don't even have account.
Then another thing again is that
should he just move to the APC?
No, you know one thing there is that Wike said does not have party now.
No, he has.
It belongs to a faction of the PDP.
He don't have a whole party. It's not whole a party that will not present candidates in some election.
But do you think if the APC eventually supports Fubara for a second term with the nod of the president, don't you think the president would have been very unfair to Wike? Because whatever is happening in the PDP is to the advantage of the president.
How is it unfair?
No, let me ask you, how is the president unfair?
Unfair.
But Adigba, we all know that this idea of dismantling the PDP.
Wait now.
You don't try for Mr. President.
No, President never tried for him.
He tried for himself. This was the man who said, after I finish serving as governor, I don't
want to be anything.
I don't want to be minister.
I don't want to be minister.
I don't want anything. I've just finished my service.
I'll just go. Allow the governor to rule the state.
He lobbied to be a minister. Now he's going about praising the president for making an inquiry man for the first time in the history of Nigeria, minister of FCT. And that people are not happy about that. So when people, let me tell you something. The president can win Rivers State without Wike now.
With the governor, why not?
Because don't forget that Wike is not governor now.
And when we say governor, people should understand what we mean by a governor.
Let me tell you something. No matter how injured a lion is still a threat to other animals.
Yes, sir.
So no matter how you think that Fubara is weak today, Fubara with the backing of the ruling party, you think that the ruling party want to lose?
So was the message, the initial message from the president, the APC to Fubara was that, what are you waiting for? Just move over to this place.
Another thing again is
and
that
you get the protection.
And don't forget one thing. What they are telling Wike is this: even if Wike should come to APC today,
the leader of the party
is still the governor. Number one. Then
but Wike has explained that aspect of and he said that I think it was a journalist that was asking him. I don't know which of the media pally did, where he told them that in Lagos,
who is the leader? Can
you say Sanwo-Olu is the leader of the party in Lagos?
Is he the president?
Which is also not very good for him because he's comparing
himself with the president. And another thing again is that don't forget one thing.
Yes.
Another thing that you need to know is this: if the way PDP is going, chairman of PDP and Anyanwu
I still recognize
leaders
of the
party, and they are the one that should sign.
But Fuhad,
at least for now, until the court decides.
But beyond that, the mistake that Wike is making is that President Tinubu remains the national leader of APC.
Yes, even as a president,
he has not resigned from that position.
He has not resigned.
You understand?
I'm with you, yes.
So his position is unique. Wike's position is not unique; it's common. In fact, not that it's just common; it's also atrocious.
Yes.
Because you claim to be in one political party that has also said they have expelled you.
But what I'm saying is that don't you think whatever he's doing to the PDP is something to also, help the president achieve his aim.
If you decide to destroy the roof of a house and you are beaten by rain, why do you blame others?
Then another thing again is that Fuhad, look, he's assisting APC and the president. Now, he helped the president to win the election in Rivers State.
So he's repeated several.
I'm coming.
How he did it?
But he was given a minister.
And somehow, yes.
I'm coming. He fought with his governor.
They helped him to.
The president sided with him and declared state of emergency. And he even allowed him.
So you think it's enough? What they've done for him is enough?
More than enough. And he said, politics in Nigeria is a game of there.
Because of the listeners, do you know that Fubara is learning some strategic lesson from people?
Yes.
Look at the SCAs that they appointed. He didn't have to go to the assembly for confirmation.
Yes, now.
But he's giving them roles like commissioners.
And they will be working like a commissioner.
Acting like commissioner.
Because they don't need to be confirmed.
They don't need to be confirmed now.
So they are the ones just working as it stands. There are no commissioners.
There are no commissioners. Yes,
but the SCAs are working.
And they are working.
But what about the monies he's spending? They say they are still not presented budget.
The money that you don't. One thing in rules is this: before an executive you are spending money, you must be able to get the approval. That one is one thing. Then another one is.
Don't tell anybody.
Yes.
The money the federal government is spending has all been approved.
But they are still spending.
He will also be spending.
Yeah. Everything.
So there are exceptions to this rule.
And funny thing is that the only people that will ask the question is the State Assembly in Rivers. Abi?
Yes.
They are handicapped.
Okay. A developing story. We'll discuss that.
I think that's a very simple thing. People will underestimate any move in politics because they always know the state governors.
But look at where they are today.
And they still lost the election. And I'm not saying that will happen to the APC. But what I'm saying is that don't underestimate any move. In an election, the most important ingredient are the people. Today, Nigerians
be
are
on
angry.
The side of the people.
Nigerians are angry.
Obviously.
And don't underestimate.
Feeling 600. I agree with you too.
This is Madam Salah. I'm ready to listen to you for 24 hours. I never get tired. I always gain. I always impact to you, impact some knowledge in me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I agree with you. Coming back to Wike. See, sir, if you kill the snake, you cut the head, you still the shake for body like they pretend say you never die. But the head no deal. That is Wike for you. The president understands that Wike is weak. He has no political relevance anymore in Rivers. He understands that. He's just taking his time. And he has already paid the Wike his dues now. For you to be ACT for about 2 years or going to 3 years. If tomorrow now, what the point I want to make is that if tomorrow Tinubu will come and say that Wike is no longer a minister of the city, what did you happen?
That's the end.
And it can happen.
Malam Salah, a president that once said that, Malam Nurudeen will be an integral part of the administration.
A minister for power.
And then the Senate did not confirm it, and the president did not say anything.
You know say the work that Erufai
and you can
do you know that the work, sir, as you are aware, the work that Erufai did to Tinubu politically, Wike has not paid one.
Yes,
because they were the governors in the north who stood for him.
You see, and the president understand that Wike is only taking advantage of him as the president. Know that he has political structure of power.
If the president can sacrifice Nurudeen for the governor of Kaduna State.
So tomorrow, if tomorrow president wants to break the political spinal cord of Wike, he just remove him as a minister. Then he borrow the government.
You are correct. That's all.
And that is the end of him. And it will happen. It will happen. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Malam Salah. Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Fuad.
Good evening.
And Barrister. And everybody, I greet you. Happy New Year.
We greet you too. Your name, sir?
My name is Ambrose, Pastor Ambrose.
All right.
Let me start with Obi. For me, I didn't know how when you people started the program. I didn't hear when you discussed about Obi. For me, it's a political miscalculation.
That he moved to the APC?
Yes.
What should he have done?
Well, unfortunately, INEC is not giving them the opportunity to register.
Yeah, that's why I think, what should they have done? Yes.
If I were, what I'm trying to say is this: as of today, I don't think anybody can beat Atiku in that ADC. I think they wooed him. I think they deceived him.
You have still not answered my question. What should he have done? Whether he was deceived or wooed?
What he should have done? There are other political parties now.
So he should have done it alone in another political party.
If there is special and credible election, yes.
Pastor Ambrose. What is the purpose?
I hope you will allow me to also talk of Wike, Sha.
We will allow you. Go on. Oh, yeah, talk about Wike.
Okay, I thought Barrister wanted to ask me a question.
No, go on.
So, go on.
Take your time.
On that Wike, just like the first caller said, look, as at today, Wike is politically dead. You know, it doesn't try where there are no crises. And the analysis is very simple. Zodima is with him. The governor's forum are with him. The National Assembly has been weakened. So, as I'm talking to you now, Tinubu does not trust Wike. He's only using him. Somebody who has done everything to Tinubu today. If we dump Tinubu, he's not a reliable person. So that's the problem. And Tinubu is a very calculative person. So he has already known Wike, and he knows that Wike is overbearing. That is the way I look at it.
Thank you, Pastor.
God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor. Hello, good evening.
Hello? Yeah, my name is Peter Usifo. I'm calling from Abba Yusuf. My take is on River State. You see, I would liken Fubara, the governor of River State, to be a very smart student in a secondary school or even university who during the exam comes the answer to the question and scores 80% or even more. But after that, when he asks any person from what he has scored, he doesn't know it. Intelligent in that aspect. What am I trying to say?
There's no time, this
with all due respect, with all due respect, hello?
And with you.
With all due respect, I'm saying that the analysts, various analysts and even journalists on this particular platform and other platforms are trying to hit up the policy when it comes to a Wike matter and of course Fubara. You see, let me tell you, Fubara fundamentally has no support in River State. You can hear what, yes, he has no councillor there, none of the chairman of the local government.
I agree with you.
The House Assembly members are not with him. The National Assembly members are not with him. So he doesn't have
what about the people? What about the people?
You see, that's what people always talk. It is government against the people in 2027 election. Who are the people? Where do they belong to? Do they belong to ADC or where? Okay. So that is just the question you have to ask yourself. Let me tell you. Wike can never be sacrificed by Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Let me ask you a question. Wait. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What happened?
Different issue. Remember, El-Rufai is no more APC and is no more with Tinubu.
Before he left the APC.
With Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's a different issue. Okay.
Good evening.
This is Okangolina.
Yes.
I greet my barrister.
Light Dave Mafluku.
No light.
I don't even know.
Barrister, you don't see what happened today. I don't know what some guys did with AI. They were showing our president stuff. Then they captured him for this thing.
For where?
Taking him to US. That's what I'm saying. They didn't know.
No.
People come to drink from my street whether they happy.
They don't know what they do. You better tell them that they don't know what they are doing.
They don't know. But I think what happened in Venezuela, not be every time you will leave the masses and be facing your own this thing. So look, there's nothing Trump cannot do. Trump can do anything. Just if he wakes up from the wrong side of his bed, he can come to Nigeria. I don't tell him I finish.
He's not
yes.
Hello.
Don't tell them.
Hello, good evening. Yes.
The issue of US and Venezuela, as I have said before, so that thank you for that intelligent contribution. Is about oil, and they have shown that they have taken over the contract with the intention of him. On the issue of Wike and Fubara, I have a contrary view as to what the other gentleman in the studio saying. Fubara is exposing his austerity in political ignorance.
You need to turn down the volume of your radio set. We're having that feedback. It's interfering with your call.
This is the first instance. He's the man who signed an agreement and he remained on it. That's what is affecting it. But what people are saying, people of Rivers will decide. They are not from Imo State.
But have you seen the gathering of Fubara too? Do you see Rivers people there too?
They are Rivers too. They are Rivers people too. They are not from Taraba. So both of them have their own way. But one important thing that I believe, Tinubu will not get his UK for Fubara because of his own political importance. He knew that politically, Wike is stronger than Fubara when it comes to politics. He has his left than him.
Okay.
For now, for me, nothing has been changed.
Okay.
All
right. Thank you. Hello. Good evening.
A very good evening to all the people in the studio.
We greet you.
Thank you very much. My name is Prince Wire. Calling you for Woshodu, the city in the center of universe.
We greet you.
Thank you very much. You see, number one is Wike to be mellowed down now. Yoruba say Agbalongbao. If something happen, they beg you. Why? If you have spirit to forgive and forget. For me, Wike should tamper justice. This might betray you, you know. But as it is now, Mr. President will be at the crossroads where letter come around. And the moment Mr. President tell you, Wike, mellow down, if you refuse, Mr. President may take another action and different action against him. So I want you to just cool down. He's performing for Nigeria at Abuja. I want it to remain so. Why I'm talking with you this one, I want Nigeria to be developed, and the man is working in Abuja. That's why you are enough. But when you talk of future problems, there are problems to be settled. In favor of interference, when the government make a mistake, we talk we are against the governor. But when I talk of settlement now, we can just mellow down now. And finally, Trump, what he did, I think United Nations, they should dismantle United Nations. Who are they? Are they covering the whole world? Are they for the whole world?
Thank you. We've talked about. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Fuhad. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Barrister Kurtis and everybody in the studio. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I am proud of Wike because I don't like cowards. You know, Wike is a brave man, and whatever is happening in Rivers State, I tell you, whatever is happening in Rivers State is just political survivor. The both parties are just trying to survive, and I'm very happy. You know, in Nigeria today, when we talk about the most talked about politician, like active politician in Nigeria, even why Wike did not contest for general election during the presidential election, the people talk about Wike more than even Obi and Atiku put together. You know, I can remember on this station in 2025, there is no Sunday program like this that in one way or the other you will not bring in Wike matter.
Okay, so where are you? What's the conclusion now?
My conclusion is that Wike is fighting for political survival, and this thing will not end not until maybe 2027 after the governorship election.
Where do you think it will end? Where do you think it will end?
Personally, I think Fubara has an edge.
Now,
Fubara has an edge because he's the governor. Yes, he's the governor, and Wike is even very far from home. Wike is in Abuja. Fubara is down there with the people.
Okay.
It's not about money. Money we exchange hand, and even the party leaders within the state.
Wike is on top of all the local governments now, and Fubara is not.
We'll take the last call for the evening and read all the messages on Facebook before we close the show. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay, we'll just take this one. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes.
This is what's coming from Adigba.
Yes.
On Trump, I think you are in a war. We flip the coin. Even that small fish, even want to eat the big fish. So that's it. But for Wike, Fubara, and the president, I think I'm with UK on this matter. The president will never deal with UK. He will never deal with UK. Because what he can get, what Fubara can do for you, UK can do 2 times of it. So that's just my take.
All right.
Never.
Thank you. All right. So that's where we end it for calls this evening. Let's quickly deal with the messages we have on Facebook. We have Kenny. Okay, no, let's start from Abdurafiu Alabalakpe from Sabo Ijewoniba, who is saying, international politics, what's happening in Venezuela is absurdity, embarrassment and insult and uncalled for. Mr. Kurtis, please, shouldn't United Nations have a role to play in all of this happening in Venezuela? Or is it conspiracy of the powerful people? And we didn't talk about KANO state. I think we've talked about the UN, really. I think when it comes to things like this, there's anything they can do. For Tinubu, we win him. He's talking about last. ADC has nowhere to go. Any candidate ADC feels Asiwaju will win him. Okay. We have Falario Bumiosi Mora greeting us from General T.A. Lagbajami Cantonment in Ikeja. Babalala Williams is saying, nice job going on here. All right, thank you. Bright Samuel, Donald Trump should also do the same in Nigeria. Ayomide Dawn, good evening to everyone in the studio. Happy first Sunday of the year. John Bernard Ohi is saying, Happy New Year to political roundtable crew. What happened in Venezuela looks like colonialism that happened in the 19th century, even though I never liked Maduro's style of leadership, just like go challenge to Talent Obaseki's second term election. Francis Ekpenyong saying, good evening, Alhaji Fuad and the guest. On Venezuela issue, I think Tinubu should be worried, of course. I know he is, and it's quite unfortunate because with 150 aircraft invading the country to capturing the president is not a tea party. Well, very big.
Spent over $1 billion
to do just that operation. Yes, about 150 aircraft deployed for that mission. Over $1 billion.
Over $1 billion
to achieve this.
Yeah.
They will get it in oil money. Get it back in oil money. All right. Saeed Kazim is saying, good evening, my great analyst. This triumphant visit to Venezuela doesn't pose a threat to Nigeria based on his recent visit with the airstrike and knowing fully well that Nigeria is an oil-rich country. Okay. Omotosho Muib Doja is saying, good evening to you all. I'm listening with rapt attention. Okay, thank you. Oble, that's the name. I'm a very big fan of this show. But speaking of accountability, the U.S. government under Trump's administration has begun to shatter the democracy it supposedly originates by capturing the president of a fully sovereign nation. Secondly, this is absolutely not about drug peddling. This why did Trump pardon the president of Honduras? Yes, who was also jailed in the U.S. On the issues of drugs. It's basically about the oil, nothing more. To cut a big deal with him. All right.
Very transactional.
Africa S. Unkokwe saying, Barrister should learn to be objective. Iran has never been interested in having a nuclear weapon.
Where do you live?
Is that what?
You live in this world?
So what was the old nuclear agreement with the U.S.?
You know, some people
by Iran. America built Iran's nuclear facility in the 1957 first, and Iran was moving closer to the acquisition of nuclear weapon under the Islamic Revolution of 1979, after which Khomeini placed the fatwa. Barrister should be.
So what did Israel go to Iran to take out?
Or the U.S. with the B-2 bomber.
And why did Ayatollah Khomeini himself in a press conference say whether Israel likes it or not?
And what were the old nuclear negotiations all about?
Anyway, all right. Some people can be very authoritative.
Well, okay. Yeah, Kenny Matthews saying, good evening, the wise man in the studio. Talking about United States invading Venezuela, fella was right when he sang the song. It was Sunday Noir. Happy Sunday evening, friends. Any corrupt leader that is making life hellish for his people should be removed by Mr. Trump to serve as deterrent to others. Sovereign nation must be in tune.
Also making life miserable.
And terrorists in Nigeria is welcome. Okay. John Bernardo here. Okay. Babatunde Shitu say, I want to thank you, your guests, for updating us and you too particularly. Unique destiny. This week will kill himself. So he has what the one that masterminded the state of emergency, whereas he night. I think people should take their time to send him messages, because reading real time makes it very difficult for us to edit your messages. So when we read it and it doesn't make sense, it becomes very difficult for us to put it out there. Please take your time to drop these messages, and when you read it, seamless and makes sense to people who are reading it too. Thank you so much. And Joseph Folorunsho said, I wish African rulers could learn a lesson by ensuring good governance, issues giving prominent priority to avoid some intruders from taking advantage. Okay. We have John Bernard Oyi saying AP's national chairman is neither here nor there. Williams Oluwatosin Feisheton is a good evening, political roundtable crew. Happy New Year. Sunday or Jaoba. You know, a lot of messages keep dropping, but that's where I would have to call it a day on the show. For those we couldn't read your messages, we say sorry to you. It's just what it is. The time is never enough to take care of all these messages. Marital Matters man is here, the man with the black cap. So what's the topic for today?
Happy New Year to Nigerians, and I think this should be the first edition in the new year, so it's going to be a bit
Is that the topic?
No, the topic
say won't leave the studio.
The topic is a struggling person ever in love, or what they call love is actually survival.
Is a struggling person ever in love?
Or what they call love.
Struggling with money.
Yes, financially.
Can he ever love, or should he ever love?
No, it's not should he ever love. Can they truly love?
Why they are struggling?
Why they are struggling?
Or they don't deserve to love?
No, you are confusing the matter. They deserve love, but if you look through that love,
it can't be true.
Can it really be true?
Okay, all right. We'll leave you guys to deal with that. Okay, this is what again next week.
His League of Romantic Analysts on Mainland 98.3 FM every Sunday as we settle every issue of the heart, and on the Marital Affairs Show. It promises to be enlightening, engaging, emotionally grounding. Make it a date this Sunday with Adisa the Enigma, only on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Inside of my soul, and they say my unmanliness will start to show, and God knows I cannot take it no more. That's why I'm asking you, how do I come up with you? You see, I'm looking for someone to satisfy me, looking for someone to love me completely, looking for someone to show me true love, and I'm searching for the kind of possibility, someone to truly love me for me, someone to come and be my true love.
The song, is it love? Is this love that I'm feeling?